Now, I wanted to invite you to embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth as we delve into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and its profound secrets of self-discipline. Stoicism, an ancient philosophical school of thought, has offered invaluable insights into the art of self-mastery and control over one's actions, thoughts, and emotions. It teaches us to navigate life's challenges with resilience, composure, and unwavering discipline. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Said Epictetus, "We can't control the world around us, but we can control how we respond to it." Don't ever forget that. The Stoic reminds themselves that in life there are things we have absolutely no control over. There are things we have partial control over, and there are things we have complete control over. The only way we can have peace in our lives is to accept this, let go of what we can't control, and then focus on that which we do control. What don't we control? We can't control the world around us, external events, other people, nature, our genetics, or the past. To try to, or to worry about any of these things is pointless and only makes life more difficult. It's in our constant attempt to try to control these things that we end up suffering. Suffering is our psychological resistance to what happens. Events may cause physical pain, but they do not in themselves create suffering. Resistance creates suffering. The only problem in your life is your mind's resistance to it as it unfolds, said Dan Millman. Our unhappiness is, in large, caused by thinking that we control things we can't. In a sense, this is like arguing with reality, and it's at the root of many, if not most, of our problems. So first, accepting that there are things we just don't control is essential if we want to move forward with our lives. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Once Serenity Prayer mentioned, focus on what you can control. If we can't control the world, external events, or other people, what is left in our control? What is that, you may question? I have to quote Epictetus, who said, "Some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing." The Stoics argue that the only two things that we have absolute control over are our thoughts and actions. We can't control the world around us, but we can control how we respond to it through our judgments and reactions. Let me repeat that once again. Through our judgments and reactions. Inevitably, things will happen in life that we can't control, but it's our perceptions of events, followed by how we respond to them, that makes these things good or bad. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own, Epictetus said. The most important practice for the Stoic is to differentiate between the two, and then to focus on what we can control. Our judgments and our voluntary actions and our choices. We cannot completely control what happens to us, but we can control how we perceive it and how we choose to respond and react. That is where our power lies. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, said Marcus Aurelius. We all understand that someday we won't be here anymore, but we often act like we'll live forever. This means we spend a lot of time doing things that don't really matter and don't help us get where we want to be. We waste time, and then we say we don't have enough of it. But remember, every moment that passes brings us closer to the end of our lives. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca said it the best. The truth is, life gives us just enough time to do what really matters. It's short because we can't waste any of it. Our time here is limited, and once it's gone, we can't have it back. That's why we shouldn't waste it on unimportant things. If we want to be happy, we should let the idea of death remind us to value our time. It teaches us to be here, in the moment, and to make the most of every second we have. Life is short when we squander our time, and time is the one thing we can never get back. That's why we need to use our time wisely. So take a moment to think about the idea of death. It can help clarify who you want to become and inspire you to make the right choices. Make every moment count toward becoming the person you want to be. Thinking about death doesn't have to be scary or sad. It can actually be a powerful motivator. It's the strongest source of motivation there is. The thought that life or the lives of our loved ones could end at any moment gives us a sense of urgency. It pushes us to take action like nothing else. It drives us to go after what truly matters, gives our lives purpose, and encourages us to do the right things. To become the people we aspire to be, we must often reflect on our own mortality. Only by understanding that our lives will eventually come to an end can we learn to truly live them to the fullest.
Living a good life doesn't come from acquiring more possessions. Even if we manage to get everything we desire, it's never truly satisfying. Moreover, the truth is, we won't always get everything we want. If we tie our happiness to the things we lack, we'll find ourselves feeling increasingly unhappy. Epictetus succinctly expressed the idea that happiness and the desire for what we lack can never coexist. It is impossible that happiness and yearning for what is not present should ever be united. This quote underscores the importance of finding contentment in the present moment rather than constantly longing for what we don't have. Instead of always wanting more, we can practice wanting and appreciating what we already possess. Life has already provided us with many gifts. We just need to recognize them. This goes beyond simply being grateful. It's a practical approach. Take stock of what you have and use it effectively. You can't control what you lack, but you have full control over what you already possess. True wealth and influence come from your ability to make the most of what's in your hands. The value lies not just in having something, but in how you use it. As Seneca wisely put it, no person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have. This perspective reminds us of the importance of contentment and wise utilization of our resources. If you always expect life to grant your every wish, you'll be left feeling constantly disappointed and unable to find true happiness. Instead, it's wiser to accept life as it is, acknowledge what you already possess, and then maximize its potential. Certainly, it's okay to desire certain things, like the basics for a comfortable and prosperous life, as well as having dreams, ambitions, and goals. Striving for self-improvement, better circumstances, and a brighter future for yourself and your loved ones is a natural part of life. The Stoics don't advise eliminating desire entirely. Rather, they encourage us to want the right things, appreciate what we already have, and leverage those assets to our advantage. Everything we truly need is already within our grasp. Epictetus offered a profound insight. Cure your desire. Don't set your heart on so many things, and you will get what you need. This wisdom encourages us to prioritize our desires and focus on what truly matters, thereby allowing us to attain what is essential for our well-being. Simplicity is the essence of Stoicism. It's about streamlining every aspect of your life and embracing a simpler, more essential way of living. Seneca beautifully emphasized the alignment of goodness with straightforwardness and simplicity. Straightforwardness and simplicity are in keeping with goodness. The things that are essential are acquired with little bother. It is the luxuries that call for toil and effort. This serves as a reminder that the essentials in life come easily, while extravagances often require excessive effort. Simplifying our desires can lead to a more virtuous and content existence. The Stoics impart the wisdom that the core of a good life lies within our control, our character. They believe that our capacity to cultivate happiness stems from this very source. To attain genuine contentment, we must recognize that our true source of happiness lies within ourselves. It is not dependent on external factors. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated the essence of happiness with his words: "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." This powerful insight reminds us that the key to a joyful life lies not in external possessions or circumstances, but within our own selves and our perspective on life. While basic necessities are important, many of us have cluttered our lives with unnecessary things. What we can do is simplify by removing everything that's not essential. This often begins with physical possessions, but it goes beyond that. It also involves decluttering our thoughts and actions. By doing so, we create space for what truly matters and find greater clarity and contentment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wisely pointed out the value of recognizing and curtailing our unnecessary words and actions. Since the vast majority of our words and actions are unnecessary, corralling them will create an abundance of leisure and tranquility. As a result, we shouldn't forget at each moment to ask, is this one of the unnecessary things? This advice encourages us to regularly assess our actions and speech, ensuring that they align with what truly matters in our lives. By eliminating the unnecessary, we can cultivate a sense of peace and freedom.
Self-discipline is like a secret formula for living life the challenging way, where the goal is to resist temptations and the allure of instant gratification, all in pursuit of bigger and better rewards down the road. It might seem simpler to take the path of least resistance, to indulge in whatever your heart desires whenever the fancy strikes. However, what this approach ultimately offers is merely fleeting pleasure in the present moment, often at the cost of a brighter future that could have been. Imagine a person with weak willpower, someone who, when faced with a daunting challenge, promptly chooses to opt out. How likely is it that this individual will accomplish anything significant in life if their paramount value is seeking comfort at all times? How would they navigate a crisis when it inevitably comes knocking? Even a seemingly minor issue could transform into an insurmountable barrier for someone who has always chosen the easy way out, steering clear of anything demanding or unpleasant. Now, let's contrast that with a different kind of person, someone who actively makes life more harder. They actively seek out and embrace challenges as golden opportunities for personal growth. Every self-imposed hardship they endure becomes a source of strength, progressively making them more resilient. Over time, they immunize themselves against life's troubles by actively seeking them out. When life throws an unexpected curveball their way, they stand ready to face it head-on, because thanks to their decision to live life the hard way, they're always prepared for adversity. Self-discipline isn't just about denying oneself pleasure. It's about building a fortress of resilience and strength, one challenge at a time. Those who willingly choose this path ensure that they are never caught off guard by life's hardships because they have actively sought out the means to conquer them. Your choices are made in a moment, but their consequences will transcend a lifetime. When you have to decide between working hard or taking it easy, remember that the choice you make today doesn't just affect now. It can have a lasting impact for many years or even decades to come. A lot of people think that being self-disciplined means that you can sit in front of a delicious piece of cake and stare at it for hours without eating it. If you go to seedy bars every week, your chances of getting punched in the face are higher than those of a person spending their evenings at home with a book. Likewise, the best way to protect yourself against temptations is to avoid them, and for that, plain old preparation is more valuable than self-control. Your chances of cheating on a diet are higher if you have forbidden foods at home. Removing them from your house. A simple act that requires little willpower, as long as you're satiated while doing so, will protect you when you get hungry, and the urge to gorge on them hits you like a ton of bricks. James Allen once said, "Before complaining that you are a slave to another, be sure that you are not a slave to self." Look within, you will find there, perchance, slavish thoughts, slavish desires, and in your daily life and conduct slavish habits. Conquer these. Cease to be a slave to self, and no man will have the power to enslave you. Stop pointing fingers at others and start owning up to your actions. It's often easy to shift the blame for our choices onto other people. It's not your friend's fault that you can't stick to a diet. It's because they tempt you to eat with them. It's not your fault that your finances are out of control. It's those big corporations and their persuasive advertising. It's not that you lack the willpower to exercise. It's because people always want something from you, leaving no time for healthy habits. But the truth is, this isn't entirely accurate. While external factors can influence you, whether they control your life ultimately depends on you. As James Allen once said, "When you master yourself, no one and nothing can enslave you." So the next time you want to blame something external for your lack of self-discipline, reconsider. Did the person eating chocolate next to you force you to eat it, or was it your own choice? Take responsibility for your actions and regain control. Becoming a self-disciplined person is something anyone can achieve. You don't require exceptional genetics or exclusive privileges to cultivate self-control. It's important to understand that nobody, not even you or anyone else, will ever attain perfect and unwavering mastery over every aspect of life. Embrace this truth, and most importantly, embrace yourself. You might have heard someone say, "I'm doing my best to work and pay my bills, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and it's hard to change anything." Financial stress, or any kind of stress for that matter, can make it difficult to resist immediate temptations. This often means that people facing financial struggles find it harder to make good decisions. It becomes a vicious cycle. Poverty creates constant mental stress, leading to poor choices, not only in finances, but also in health, relationships, and overall future prospects. But does this mean that if you're struggling financially, you're doomed to have a bleak life? Not necessarily. Taking personal responsibility and understanding the root of the problem can help you move forward and overcome your circumstances. I personally experienced this when I started one of my businesses and ended up in debt. It brought tremendous daily stress. No matter what I did, the thought of repaying that debt loomed in the back of my mind. Some months I came dangerously close to not meeting my financial obligations on time, and I would have had to close my business if it weren't for some last-minute income. This experience taught me that, contrary to the saying that money can't buy happiness, having several months' worth of income saved in the bank can make a significant difference. It can mean the distinction between a relatively stress-free life and the overwhelming fear that arises when you can't cover an urgent and important expense. If you're grappling with financial difficulties, consider making it a priority to get out of debt as quickly as possible and establish an emergency fund that covers at least 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses. Not only will this improve your financial well-being, but it will also significantly reduce stress and enhance your ability to delay gratification, making more favorable choices for your future. Difficult times can make it seem like your world has ground to a halt. However, life never stops evolving, and with time, you'll find yourself moving forward again, albeit in your own unique way. Remember, hardships are a natural part of personal growth. In times of crisis, having the right mindset can lead to personal improvement. Some valuable lessons include becoming stronger, letting go of the past, improving communication, trusting your instincts, and embracing forgiveness and growth. Life is a precious gift, so don't forget to savor it. While we often have little control over external circumstances, we do have control over our reactions to them. Life is fragile, so use your time wisely and appreciate its beauty. It's meant to be lived to the fullest, with deep feelings and enjoyment. Science even tells us that taking on challenges can stimulate brain cell growth, helping us cope and build resilience. The starting point of any new endeavor is crucial, and self-discipline is the key. Whether it's personal success, achieving goals, or excelling professionally, self-discipline is the most vital quality required. We often realize the hard way that external factors influence our lives, and nothing happens overnight. Just as it takes time to build physical muscles, it takes time to develop self-discipline. The more you cultivate it, the stronger you become. Discipline is the core principle, mindset, and philosophy that keeps individuals on track and propels them toward their goals. Philosophy isn't merely about philosophical discussions or reading complex books. It's a tool that humans have employed throughout history to achieve personal and professional greatness. This wisdom endures, with Stoicism being recognized as one of the most practical and actionable philosophies. Building self-discipline is a vital journey, and it's essential to confront the realities that challenge the comfortable narratives we've constructed for ourselves. Here are some steps to help you build self-discipline. Recognize the importance. Understand that self-discipline is fundamental for personal and professional success. It's the key to achieving excellence and outstanding performance. Set clear goals. Define your goals clearly. Know what you want to achieve and why it matters to you. Having a clear sense of purpose can motivate self-discipline. Start small. Begin with manageable tasks. Trying to develop self-discipline in every aspect of your life all at once can be overwhelming. Focus on one area at a time. Create a routine. Establish daily routines and habits that support your goals. Consistency is crucial in building self-discipline. Use Stoic philosophy. Stoicism can be a valuable tool in cultivating self-discipline. It emphasizes self-control, resilience, and the ability to focus on what you can control. Accept external factors. Understand that external factors are a part of life, but your response to them is within your control. Stoicism teaches that how you react to external events matters more than the events themselves. Practice patience. Building self-discipline takes time. Just as you don't build muscle overnight, you won't develop self-discipline instantly. Be patient with yourself and keep working on it. Reflect and adjust. Regularly assess your progress and make necessary adjustments. Learn from your mistakes and setbacks. Seek support. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your efforts to build self-discipline. Share your goals with them for added accountability. Stay non-judgmental. Remember that everyone is dealing with their own struggles. Avoid judging others as you don't know their inner challenges. Incorporating Stoic principles into your life can help you build self-discipline while fostering a mindset of acceptance and resilience. It's not about being authoritarian, but about mastering self-control and leading a more virtuous life. Embrace the journey of self-discipline, and with time and effort, you'll become stronger and more capable of achieving your goals. We have to stop now, but next time we meet, we will discuss the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius's writings to discover valuable insights on cultivating self-discipline. Feel free to engage with this content by liking the video and subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you won't miss out on future videos about Stoic philosophy, designed to assist you in your pursuit of happiness. Welcome to this thought-provoking journey into the realm of Stoicism, where we explore the path to personal happiness and building a better world. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Now you may wonder, can Stoic principles offer a pathway to happiness? The Stoics believed that our emotions are the offspring of our thoughts, a profound insight. While feelings and thoughts may seem distinct, the Stoics perceived them as intertwined facets of the same coin. Imagine that coin. One side represents our emotions and the other side our thoughts. Those who hide their feelings focus solely on the emotional side, neglecting the thoughts that underlie those feelings. Interestingly, the early Stoics, while advocating Stoic wisdom, humbly acknowledged their own distance from its attainment. They regarded Socrates as one of their precursors. According to Socrates, happiness lies in shifting our focus from the body to the soul, harmonizing our desires and attaining tranquility. He asserted that a moral life leads to a happier existence. Now, the question arises, can I dedicate myself to this cause? Can I, by myself, immediately change the world for the better? The Stoics would suggest that such changes are long-term endeavors, achievable only when a collective desire for happiness unites many. Ancient Greek philosophers were true freethinkers, often proposing radical ideas that remain pertinent today. So, I ask you these fundamental questions. How can you find happiness? How can you lead a meaningful life? Were your answers to these questions strikingly different? Many people see happiness as personal pleasure. Stoics, however, challenge this distinction, asserting that the paths to happiness and a virtuous life are one and the same. This revelation liberates us from the guilt of pursuing personal happiness. Now, let's explore the Stoic perspective. According to them, 4 cardinal virtues are paramount: wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. As Marcus Aurelius noted, very little indeed is necessary for living a happy life. Consider this. What is the true path to happiness? Everyone wants to be happy. But what is the best path to happiness? Is it pursuing A, pleasure and fun; B, achievement and status; C, money and material goods; D, rationality and virtue? If you answer D, then you may well be a natural Stoic. Rationality helps you decide what you need to do to be happy. Virtue means you have the right motivation. Can you see any problems with the non-Stoic answers A, B, and C? If D is the best path to happiness, what difference can this make to the choices you make today? Let me tell you an interesting story about King Midas. Granted one wish, King Midas asked that everything he touched be turned into gold. Unfortunately, this apparent blessing turned out to be a great curse. When Midas tried to eat, the food turned to gold as soon as it touched his tongue. He starved to death. Midas hugged his beloved daughter and she turned into a gold statue. What do you think is the moral of this story? One may answer, don't be greedy, or don't be materialistic. The Stoic would agree with all of these, and add one more vital lesson. Don't overvalue external things like wealth, status, and pleasure. Today, please take a moment to write down some internals you're grateful for, the things money can't buy, such as your ability to take a step back and think things through, to decide what to value and to choose your attitudes. This probably wasn't in your agenda, but all the regrets. If only I could afford that holiday. If only I got that job. If only I could work up the courage to ask them out. Which of these if-onlys have you indulged in? Remember, people are more important than things I once knew. A woman who was a bit of a hoarder. She was surrounded by a mess of clutter, and her personal life reflected it. The reason? She was so attached to these things because they reminded her of the people who gave them to her, mostly deceased. I noticed she was also quite an unhappy person, uppity and anxious most of the time, needing to be in control of everything, even the uncontrollable. I always wanted to tell her that although these things reminded her of certain people, it seemed as if she valued the things more than the actual memories, desperately holding tight to suffocating clutter gifted to her wasn't bringing her loved ones back to life. In fact, these things were slowly taking her life, the virtues, a check-in. The Stoics believe that while pursuing external things like pleasure, achievement and money doesn't provide a reliable path to true happiness, such a path does exist. The key is to develop certain internal qualities. There are 4 internal qualities Stoics prize above all others, the 4 cardinal virtues, namely wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice. But what about money, you may ask? Does money always make you happy? Indeed not. There are many unhappy celebrities. What do we call the quality that allows us to use money well? Wisdom. The Stoics think that you nail your colors to the wrong mast if you aim for goals like pleasure, achievement, or material goods. They think that the virtues pave the way to lasting happiness and a good life. Virtues are skills which enable you to both live well and be happy. Without them, you will make a mess of things in the long run, sometimes sooner. Here is how the Stoic virtues can make you happier. You may want to write them down. Courage allows you to handle fear well. Without courage, fear and discomfort may prevent you from doing things that are worthwhile and important. Self-control enables you to manage your desires. Otherwise, you will be prone to eat or drink the wrong things, cheat on your partner, or go astray in other ways that wreak havoc on your life. Justice ensures you treat others well, exercising kindness and fairness. It creates and maintains not only harmony in relationships and community, but harmony within. Wisdom helps us to understand the world. While we can't control the whole world, we can control our perception of it. What's right or wrong, what is best for us all in the grand scheme of things, and what we can best do to bring that about. The more you develop wisdom, the better your whole life will go. Today, look out for opportunities to practice each of the 4 main, or cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Then spend 5 minutes at the end of the day reviewing them. What is it that went well? What could be done better? What is it that wasn't done? Don't we all do things that seem to benefit us in the short term but harm us when we look at the big picture, like when we eat that unhealthy cake or gossip about a friend? We need to remember there is no shortcut to happiness. Have you ever seen the movie Goodfellas? At first, the gangsters in the film seem to have found a shortcut to happiness. They get the girls, drive fast cars, and never have to wait in line. Yet, by the end of the film, they all wound up with broken relationships, in jail, or dead. It's not so hard to see that their happiness isn't likely to last. At some point in your Stoic journey, you are bound to come across the phrase preferred indifference. It's another name for external goods like status, money, and pleasure, though it's a confusing phrase. How can you be indifferent to something if you prefer it? And should you be indifferent to things like the health and the well-being of your loved ones? In fact, Stoics are not indifferent to the indifference. There are some things that we naturally pursue, and as long as we obtain them in a virtuous way, that's fine. It's natural to prefer health to ill health, and having money to living in poverty. External goods are called indifferent, not because we should be indifferent to them, but because they do not make the difference between true happiness and misery, between a good life and a bad life. The virtues are the only sure path to true happiness, the only things that are unconditionally good. Happiness is within your grasp. To paraphrase Marcus Aurelius, there are three types of people. People who think happiness is all about praise, people who think it's all about pleasure, and people who think it's all about their own actions. Marcus Aurelius believes that it is this last group of people who are wisest. If you depend on other people's approval or make feeling good your main value, then happiness is outside your control. If, on the other hand, you follow the wise and make your own virtuous actions your main goal in life, happiness is very much within your grasp. Why? Because you can always, like the Stoics, try to do the right thing. And can you think of anything better? In his book of Meditations, Marcus Aurelius poses this challenge. If you can find anything in human life better than justice, truthfulness, self-control, and courage, turn to it with all your heart and enjoy the supreme good that you have found. Can you think of anything better than the virtues as the path towards true happiness? Or do you find yourself in agreement with the last good emperor? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening Stoic journey. Until next time, pursue virtue and find happiness within your grasp. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember, happiness is found in the pursuit of virtue. Until next time, stay wise and be happy.